I think Rey is carrying Ben Solo's child at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. Let me explain. After Rey defeats the Emperor through the combined strength of all of the Force Ghosts, she collapses to the ground and dies. We then see the newly redeemed Ben Solo claw his way out of the pit he had been thrown down. In a desperate attempt to save the last person who cares for him, he places his hand on Rey's stomach. His act takes the little bit of life he had left and transfers it to Rey. What if the strength of their bond allowed Ben to impregnate Rey through the will of the Force, hence the title, The Rise of Skywalker? This would go on to further explain why Rey went to the Skywalker homestead in the first place at the end of the movie, and on top of that, the music that plays over the final scene where Rey declares herself Rey Skywalker is actually titled A New Home. This clearly implies to me that she is likely there to stay, to raise her Skywalker child, or maybe even her children. I mean, why would the girl who found so much pain in her youth, growing up on a backwater desert world, choose to return to another planet just like it? Because this is the home of her new family. Her children's bloodline started here, and so this is where they will begin their journey. The fact that Rey could be carrying the child of Skywalker would also add to the depth of her decision to change her name. Perhaps Rey is unsure of whether she should go by Solo, Skywalker, or just stick to Rey when she is asked by the old lady on Tatooine. Maybe for a second she even considered taking the name Palpatine, and doing what she could to change that dark legacy. But ultimately, she's not even sure if she is capable of carrying that burden, let alone placing that kind of stress on her unborn child. But the sight of her Skywalker mentors there to support her provides the final approval she needed to commit to the family she had always longed to be a part of. Perhaps if Disney does ever choose to revisit the Skywalker saga, the story will be centered around Rey, Ben, and their children who have been trained in both the light and the dark sides of the Force. In The Last Jedi, Snoke says, "I warned my young apprentice that as he grew stronger, his equal in the light would rise." As we have seen before, it isn't enough to simply destroy all the evil in the galaxy or to wipe out the light, because the Force seeks balance, and neither of those sides are a true representation of that. But if the new generation of Jedi is trained in both the light and the dark sides of the Force, and they are able to find the balance in that power, then their equals cannot rise because they represent the balance. The ability to harness one's power and being mindful enough to not stray too far away toward the darkness would certainly be difficult for a young child. But a kid who carries both Palpatine and Skywalker blood would surely be the most well-equipped to harness this power, given that their connection with the Force might be the strongest we have ever seen in Star Wars. I could also see a new set of Star Wars films where these children are trained in the light side of the Force as traditional Jedi to fight a new evil. I would love to see a set of movies where these children are pitted against each other, where one or two of them remain in the light and the other falls to the darkness. I just think it would be so awesome to see Ben and Rey training their children and to watch their children go through exactly what they went through years ago, similar to what Anakin could have had he not turned to the dark side. There are just too many things still open on the table after Episode 9, which I felt did a great job of wrapping up this trilogy, but also set itself up for future stories with the family who is really the beating heart of Star Wars. Please let me know what you guys think about this theory in the comments section below. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and may the Force be with you always.